The mahogany boardroom of Harrison Industries felt especially suffocating that morning. 20 pairs of eyes watched as I arranged papers and water glasses, the same routine I'd performed for 5 years. Ever since Uncle Richard declared that starting from the bottom was the only way to learn the family business. If only he knew that while I played secretary by day, I was secretly running Global Dynamics, the fastest-growing tech consulting firm in Asia, by night. "Sarah, coffee for the board members," Uncle Richard barked, adjusting his Rolex with that familiar smug expression. "And try not to spill it this time." I bit back a smile, thinking of the $500 million deal I'd closed from my phone in the supply closet yesterday. "Right away, Uncle Richard." The quarterly shareholders' meeting was particularly tense today. Harrison Industries, a century-old manufacturing company, was losing ground to more innovative competitors. Uncle Richard's leadership style, stuck somewhere between 1950s autocracy and 1980s excess, wasn't exactly helping. "As you can see from the projections," he droned on, "our traditional methods have served us well for generations. We don't need to chase every new technological trend." I carefully placed a coffee cup in front of Mr. Jenkins, our oldest board member, while simultaneously checking my hidden earpiece. My actual executive team at Global Dynamics was updating me on our latest acquisition. "The Japanese merger is complete," whispered James, my CFO, through the discreet device. "Stocks up 12% in Tokyo." "And the Singapore office?" I murmured, pretending to adjust my hair. "Exceeding projections by 40%. By the way, the Financial Times interview is confirmed for next week. They're calling you the Shadow CEO, the mysterious woman revolutionizing Asian tech markets." Uncle Richard's voice cut through my conversation. "Sarah, are you daydreaming again? The board members need their reports." I distributed the folders, fighting to keep my expression neutral as I noticed their outdated projections and flawed analysis. Harrison Industries was bleeding market share, but Uncle Richard remained convinced that tradition would save them. "Now," he continued, "about this ridiculous suggestion to digitize our operations." Actually, I couldn't help interjecting, digitization could increase efficiency by at least 30%. The room fell silent. Uncle Richard's face reddened. "Sarah, you're here to take notes, not offer opinions. Know your place. But the market data clearly shows—" "Enough!" He slammed his hand on the table. "You're just the secretary. Leave the real business decisions to those qualified to make them." Just then, the boardroom doors burst open. Mr. Tanaka, CEO of Asia's largest tech conglomerate and Harrison Industries' most important potential client, strode in with his entourage. "Sarah," he exclaimed warmly, "there's my brilliant CEO. I just flew in to finalize our partnership personally." The room froze. Uncle Richard's coffee cup clattered against his saucer. "I must say," Mr. Tanaka continued, "Global Dynamics' transformation of the Asian market is remarkable. Your vision for integrating AI with traditional manufacturing is revolutionary." "Global Dynamics?" Uncle Richard stammered. "But that's the company that's been eating our market share in Asia." Mr. Tanaka looked confused. "Yes, under Sarah's leadership, they've become the most innovative force in the industry. That's why we're moving all our contracts from Harrison Industries to them." He turned to me. "Though I'm confused why you're serving coffee, Sarah. Shouldn't you be running this meeting?" I straightened up, finally dropping the subservient posture I'd maintained for years. "Actually, Mr. Tanaka, I was just about to make an announcement." From my secretary's notebook, I pulled out a stack of documents and handed them to the board's legal counsel. As of this morning, Global Dynamics owns 51% of Harrison Industries shares. I've spent the last 5 years quietly buying them through various shell companies. Uncle Richard's face went from red to white. That's impossible. You're just a secretary? I smiled, pulling up Global Dynamics' latest market data on the boardroom screen with my phone. While you were teaching me to know my place, I built a company worth 10 times what Harrison Industries is worth today. The board members were frantically Googling on their phones, expressions shifting from shock to awe as they discovered who I really was. The shadow CEO, Mr. Jenkins whispered. It was you all along. Sarah Harrison, Mr. Tanaka announced proudly. The woman who transformed Asian manufacturing while her own family underestimated her. Rather ironic, isn't it? I took my uncle's seat at the head of the table, enjoying the way he stumbled back in shock. Now, about that digitization plan. My phone buzzed. Global Dynamics stock had just jumped another 15% on news of the acquisition. Uncle Richard's precious Rolex suddenly looked very outdated compared to my quantum-powered smartwatch that controlled operations across 3 continents. Shall we begin the real meeting? I asked, opening my laptop. I believe we have some long overdue changes to discuss. The secretary's notebook lay abandoned on the side table, 5 years of careful notes and secret strategies finally paying off. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just success. It's succeeding so spectacularly that those who doubted you have to watch you take their power right from under their noses. And this was just the beginning. The next 24 hours were a masterclass in corporate restructuring. The Harrison Industries boardroom, once my prison of pretense, had become my command center. Screens displayed real-time data from Global Dynamics operations worldwide, while my actual executive team coordinated the merger via holographic conference. The Asian markets are ecstatic, James reported, his hologram gesturing to the latest figures. Harrison Industries stock jumped 40% just on the announcement of our takeover. They're calling it the Secretary's coup on CNBC. I smiled, remembering Uncle Richard's face when security had escorted him from his office, my office now. And the family? In complete meltdown. Your Aunt Patricia has called every society columnist in town, trying to explain why she never mentioned her entrepreneurial niece before. Your cousins have suddenly updated their LinkedIn profiles to highlight their connection to you. And Uncle Richard. James grinned. He's been sitting in his country club for 6 hours, drinking scotch, and telling anyone who'll listen that he taught you everything you know. How generous of him, I replied, watching our merger announcement dominate every financial news channel. Though I don't recall how to secretly build a multi-billion-dollar empire being part of his mentorship program. My phone lit up with my mother's face, the 20th call since yesterday's revelation. This time, I answered. The family emergency meeting is in chaos, she blurted. Grandmother keeps showing everyone that Forbes article about the shadow CEO and asking why nobody noticed her granddaughter was running Asia's fastest growing company. Perhaps they were too busy telling me how to properly arrange the coffee cups, I said, signing off on another billion-dollar acquisition. And your father? God, Sarah. He's simultaneously proud and mortified. He keeps saying he should have known something was up when you bought that modest apartment in Singapore, the one that apparently takes up the top 3 floors of the city's most expensive building. I glanced at the latest property reports from my real estate division. He might want to avoid reading tomorrow's Wall Street Journal. Then, they're doing a feature on my global real estate portfolio. How bad? Let's just say that modest apartment was the least of my acquisitions. The Harrison family compound? I bought it last month through a shell company. I own the ground they're standing on while having their emergency meeting. Silence on the line. Then, Sarah, that's good business, I suggested. I learned from the best after all. Uncle Richard always said to acquire assets strategically. After hanging up, I turned to my actual assistant, not a secret CEO playing pretend, but a Harvard MBA who'd chosen to work for me over every major tech company. How's Operation Legacy proceeding? She pulled up encrypted files on her quantum tablet. We now control 73% of Harrison Industries subsidiaries through various holdings. The remaining 27% will be ours by market open tomorrow. Make it today, I instructed, straightening my actual wardrobe. A hand-tailored channel suit that cost more than Uncle Richard's annual bonus. Time to accelerate the timeline. The afternoon brought a parade of revelations. My modest office. A 3-story penthouse command center with AI-powered everything. Welcomed a stream of shocked family members. Each arrival was a carefully choreographed demonstration of power. Aunt Patricia nearly fainted when she saw her prized charity organization's building on my acquisition list. Cousin Michael turned pale when he realized the startup that had rejected his job application last month was one of my subsidiaries. And Uncle Richard's prized client list. I'd acquired most of their companies while serving him coffee. Then came the call I'd been waiting for. Grandmother. My dear. Her voice carried its usual steel. The family seems to think you've orchestrated quite the coup. Not a coup, grandmother. Just good business. Indeed. A pause. Your grandfather would have loved this. He always said the quiet ones were the most dangerous. I smiled, remembering the old man who taught me chess while everyone else taught me filing systems. He left me his first dollar, you know. Said sometimes the best moves are the ones nobody sees coming. The family meeting continues tomorrow. Will you attend? Of course. It's being held on my property, after all. Another pause. Then, well played, my dear. Very well played indeed. The sun was setting over the city as I reviewed the final details of our global restructuring. On my screens, global dynamics innovations were transforming industries across continents. The technology Uncle Richard had called unnecessary was revolutionizing everything from manufacturing to artificial intelligence. James appeared with fresh intelligence. Your cousins have sent a combined total of 42 job applications to our HR department. Your aunt is telling everyone she always knew you were special. And Uncle Richard? He's just discovered that his favorite whiskey distillery is now owned by your beverage division. I adjusted my quantum-powered watch, worth more than their combined net worth. Schedule a family dinner for next week. My treat. The country club they could never get a membership to. No, the one I bought this morning. And James? Make sure the private dining room displays our latest technology. It's time they understood exactly what they've been dismissing as secretarial work. My phone buzzed with updates. Our AI division had achieved another breakthrough. Our quantum computing platform had solved another impossible problem. And our market cap had just exceeded the GDP of several small nations. One more thing. I called as James headed out. That list of companies that rejected Harrison Industries partnership offers over the years. Yes. Buy them. All of them. Then put Uncle Richard's old office furniture in their lobbies. Let's call it a design installation. He raised an eyebrow. That's 34 companies across 4 continents. 35, actually. I just added Uncle Richard's golf club to the list. I turned back to the city view, watching lights flicker on across the empire I'd built while they thought I was filing papers. Sometimes the best lessons about knowing your place come from someone changing the entire playing field. The quantum processors hummed softly in the background, calculating futures they couldn't begin to imagine. Tomorrow's family meeting wouldn't just change Harrison Industries, it would reshape the entire family dynamic. And I was just getting started. The Harrison family estate, my estate now, loomed against the morning sky as my quantum-powered Maybach glided through the gates. Security teams, discreetly positioned throughout the grounds, confirmed my arrival through encrypted channels. 5 years of playing secretary had taught me the value of staying 10 steps ahead. The families all assembled in the main hall. James reported through my earpiece. Your uncle arrived an hour early, tried to access his old office files, and discovered his passwords no longer work. He's been pacing ever since. I smiled, checking my reflection in the car's smart glass window. Gone was the meek secretary's uniform. Today's armor was a hand-tailored Valentino suit that cost more than Uncle Richard's car. And grandmother, holding court in her usual chair. Though technically, it's your chair now, since you own the building and everything in it. The front door opened before I reached it. Inside, the familiar family tableau had taken on a different energy. Cousins who once ignored me now straightened their postures. Aunts who dismissed me as Richard's charity case nervously adjusted their jewelry from companies I now controlled. Sarah. Grandmother's voice cut through the tension. She hadn't moved from her throne-like chair, but her eyes held new respect. I believe you called this meeting. I did. I took my place at the head of the room, enjoying how Uncle Richard shifted uncomfortably in his peripheral position. We need to discuss the future of Harrison Industries. All of it. There's nothing to discuss, Uncle Richard burst out. This hostile takeover is completely legal, I interrupted, pulling up holographic displays from my quantum watch. As are the other acquisitions you haven't discovered yet. The room filled with floating data, company structures, ownership chains, asset portfolios. The family gasped as they realized the extent of my empire. That building in Dubai, Cousin Michael stammered. The one you said you were visiting for work, is Global Dynamics Middle Eastern headquarters. Yes, I swiped to another display. Just like that small consulting project in Tokyo was actually me orchestrating the largest tech merger in Asian history. Aunt Patricia clutched her pearls. But you were just Richard's secretary. No, grandmother corrected, a hint of pride in her voice. She was never just anything. Were you, dear? I stood, commanding the room with the presence I'd hidden for years. While you were all teaching me to know my place, I was building something none of you could imagine. Global Dynamics isn't just a company, it's the future. The holographs shifted to show our latest innovations. Quantum computing platforms revolutionizing industries, AI systems solving impossible problems, clean energy solutions transforming cities. That silly little laptop you mocked me for always typing on, Uncle Richard? It was controlling operations across 47 countries. Those unnecessary coffee breaks? I was closing billion-dollar deals from the supply closet. My phone buzzed. Another acquisition complete. I added it to the display with a casual gesture. Oh, and I just bought your favorite golf club. The one that blackballed me last year when I applied for membership? I'm turning it into a quantum research facility. The room erupted in chaos. Cousins frantically checked their phones, discovering their trust funds were now invested in my companies. Aunts realized that their social clubs were operating in buildings I owned. Uncle Richard slumped in his chair, his Rolex looking particularly obsolete next to my quantum tech. "But why?" my mother finally asked. "Why pretend for so long?" "Because you all taught me the most valuable lesson in business. Underestimation is power." I pulled up footage from yesterday's CNBC interview, my first public appearance as Global Dynamics CEO. While you were busy dismissing me, I was learning every weakness, every flaw in your empire, and building something better. Grandmother's laugh cut through the tension. "Oh, Richard, you fool. You gave her the perfect cover. Who notices the secretary in the corner? Who censors themselves around the girl bringing coffee? You handed her every secret we had." "The board meets in an hour," I announced, gathering my things. "I've arranged for cars to take everyone home, to the homes I now own, by the way. Grandmother, you'll stay for the meeting." "Wouldn't miss it, dear." She rose regally. Someone should witness the changing of the guard. Uncle Richard made one last attempt. "The family will never accept." "The family," I cut in, "doesn't have a choice. Check your portfolios." While we've been talking, Global Dynamics completed its acquisition of every remaining Harrison asset. The papers are calling it the most brilliant corporate takeover in history. I turned to leave, then paused. "Oh, and Uncle Richard, clear out your office by 5. My actual secretary needs the space. She has an MBA from Harvard, by the way. I believe in paying for quality." The quantum processors hummed through the building, my building, as I walked out, leaving behind a family realizing they were now working for the secretary they'd underestimated. My phone lit up with notifications. Stock prices soaring, innovations launching, empires rising. Grandmother caught up with me at the door. "Your grandfather would be proud," she said softly. "He always said true power isn't in what you show, but in what you hide." "I learned from the best," I replied, stepping into my waiting car. Though I did add some modern touches to his philosophy. "The quantum technology?" "No," I smiled. "The satisfaction of proving everyone wrong." As we drove away, I watched the family scatter to their newly owned homes, their newly controlled companies, their newly reshaped world. The secretary had become the CEO, the coffee girl had become the queen, and the family that had underestimated me for so long was now living in my empire. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just success. It's succeeding so spectacularly that those who doubted you become footnotes in your story. And as for that old saying about knowing your place, well, sometimes your place is exactly where they least expect you to be, at the top.